Since its inception in 1953, the Eldorado was Cadillac's halo car. For the first decade of its production, they were more expensive than a Rolls-Royce or a Ferrari. The Eldorado went through 12 redesigns during its 50-year production run, and in 1992 it received its final redesign for the 12th generation. It was over 11 inches longer and 3 inches wider than its predecessor, but it maintained the same 54-inch overall height. It also carried over from its predecessor a 4.9-liter 200-horsepower V8. But in 1993, the 32-valve quad-cam Northstar became an option, and in 1994 it was standardized across the platform. It came in two flavors, 275 horsepower in sport trim and 300 horsepower in touring trim. Now that may not seem like a lot, but keep in mind this is 1997. That's not much less horsepower than the outgoing C4 Corvette. It's only 5 less horsepower than an SVT Cobra and a full 85 horsepower more than a Mustang GT. The Eldorado Northstar was the first American car to break the 150 mile an hour speed barrier. It was over 2.5 seconds faster to 60 than the outgoing Eldorado, and nearly twice as quick to 60 as the model before that. This car was long, low, wide, and mean. It was 4 inches wider than a Cadillac XLR. It's an inch lower than an ATS-V, while being 2 inches longer than a 2002 Escalade. Now, to put that in perspective, the vehicle next to the car right now is a Ford Fiesta. And it really was the genesis of the Cadillac we know today, where they started moving away from large body-on-frame highway cruisers that we were familiar with before, particularly in the Eldorados that came before this. The 80 to 85 Eldorado and the ones before that, really the only thing they share in common with this car is the fact that they are two doors and they got a wreath on them. We're going to leave out the 86 to 91 because nobody likes that car. And in fact, the guy who designed this car is reported to have been walking through an airport parking lot and came across like an 88 Eldorado, and he walked right up to the owner and said, "Oh, look, there's a little car that almost killed Cadillac." So, but this is the genesis of the more driver-focused Cadillacs that we know today. In fact, the guy who designed this car, Dick Rusin, grow up. Dick Rusin is his name, and he spent 40 years with GM, and that's a red light. Good brakes. Good brakes. That was 55 to 0 with no drama whatsoever. The lights out here change like that. But he spent 40 years with Cadillac. He ended his career with Cadillac as the GM designer, the head of GM Europe. And he worked on over 140 different designs, but this was his masterpiece. This is the most well-renowned car that he ever designed. This is the most well-appreciated car he ever designed. And it really is just it is about as good as any designer could do on a sporty yet luxurious two-door Grand Touring Coupe. And I know that there's going to be people out there who say, "Oh, it's not a Grand Touring car, you stupid bastard." And I was even confused about the definition of Grand Touring car when I got the idea to make this video. And it turns out that a Grand Touring car is a two-door coupe with a big trunk and a luxurious interior and a powerful V8 engine. So you can just kind of throw all your golf clubs in the back, or 2 or 3 bodies, or whatever you got, and you can kind of go on a trip and just cruise, go on a grand tour, as it were. Wow, that was an ugly car, dude. Like, that was That was a Dodge Charger with orange camouflage and green halos in the headlights. Some people shouldn't have cars. Take a bus. So Dick Rusin had a vision for this car, that it would be sort of a spaceship for the road. The DeVille Concours, they actually called a private jet for the road. And this is the two-door counterpart to that. So 1997 was a big year for this car and for the world. I mean, we lost Princess Diana, we lost Mother Teresa. Hong Kong was taken back over by China, who subsequently killed every chicken in the entire country to stop bird flu. Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. It was a big year for the country, right? And for the world. And a big year for the Cadillac Eldorado, because it was the first year that integrated chassis control was available on these vehicles. It was standardized on these vehicles, as a matter of fact, which includes magnetorological, I can't say that word. I don't know how to say that word. I'll put in an electronic voice saying that word right here.
Magnetorological.
That kind of suspension. And what it is it's shock absorbed dampers, which have inside them an oil which has iron shavings in it. You pass an electrical current through it, and in the blink of an eye, it can change the pressure inside of the shock to react to the changing road conditions. It also has that principle applied to the rack and pinion steering. It has MagnaSteer and MagneRide are the names for them. Now, nowadays, in a luxury car, especially in a sport touring car, you would expect the car to have those kind of features: electronic adaptive, active suspension, and steering. But in 1997, this was unheard of. In fact, when Dick Rusin proposed this at a board meeting, the GM of GM demanded that he be weighed against a duck to prove that there's no witchcraft involved. True story. Now, what that all adds up to is a ride that not only accustoms itself to the current road you're driving on, but it's a very smooth ride. And it's a very flat ride. It's a very composed ride. It is sporty while still being luxurious. I mean, these roads out here are absolute trash in Ohio. I'll be honest with you. I'm from Las Vegas, right? And I'm used to seeing construction cones everywhere, but I'm not used to seeing construction cones where nothing really gets accomplished. And these roads out here are like driving through Mogadishu. Swear to God. We'll put it. Let me find a road to drive down real quick, and we'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Look at how this car handles. I mean, this is, for a 25-year-old car, as we hit a MILF. I mean, this road is absolutely appalling. This is like as close to being a dirt road and still being paved as you can possibly get. And this car is just eating it. Like, I've driven down this road many times in my work truck, which is an International 4300. And by the time I'm done driving down this road, I'm 3 inches shorter from bouncing around. And that truck has an air suspension seat. This is just absolutely a driver's car. It may not seem like it because it's got a gold Cadillac wreath on the hood of it, but this is absolutely a driver's car, and it handles in the most graceful way on a road, especially on a road like this. We gotta get the hell off this road. The car handles so gracefully, like a ballerina dancing down the steps at Machu Picchu. You know, it's just, now it's not going to give you the type of ride that you're looking for in, let's say, a D'Elegance DeVille or a DHS DeVille. Extremely flat for what it is. It is not going to be Corvette flat as it goes through a curve, but it's not Corvette rough either. I mean, when you see this car take a turn and it stays that flat, you're like, oh, it's very impressive. And then you remember it's a 5,000-pound Cadillac, and you're like, that's pretty damn impressive, as a matter of fact. So it's a lovely driver's car, and it's just low on fuel, and it takes premium. So about to put $80. In the tank of a two-door Cadillac. But you know, something about driving an old Cadillac, and it is old nowadays. It sucks that it's old, because I remember when these things were brand new. I was 11 years old when this car was brand new, and I can remember driving by Cashman Cadillac and seeing these up on the turntable. You remember they used to put cars up on turntables at car dealerships, and they'd have this thing just turning and gleaming in the sunlight, and oh yeah. And now it's a classic car. Now it's 25 years old, and I'm old as hell too now, I guess. So, but it feels like the kind of car you can just go. Where are you going? I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't have navigation. It doesn't need navigation, because you can just get in it and just enjoy the ride and just have a nice little cruise on a Sunday or a day that you're off, and you know, go get some ice cream or go get a Sonic. Oh my God, go to Sonic and get an ocean water. Yeah, that's what I need to do. So this car, brand new, had an MSRP of $42,500. You know, after finance charges and taxes, that's a $46,000, $47,000 proposition. 44, 45, somewhere in there. That is $75,000 when adjusted for inflation. Now the question then becomes, is this still a $75,000 car by today's standards? And the answer to that is no. No, it doesn't have massaging seats. It doesn't have a 15-inch center stack display. It doesn't have a digital readout. It doesn't have navigation. It doesn't have the ability to park itself. The type of things that you expect a $75,000 car to have nowadays. But it doesn't cost $75,000 anymore. This car right here, and I never talk about how much things cost, but the point of this video is that this is the best value in Grand Touring Sunday cars that you can possibly get. This car, with 50,000 miles on it, 50,000 miles is how much this car had on the odometer, was $5,500, and it is in perfect condition. It is in mint condition. There's some imperfection, but mint as a 25-year-old car can be. There are a few imperfections here and there, but nothing that can't be fixed. I mean, it's not even that big of a deal, you know. It was $5,500, $5,500. There are lawnmowers that cost more than that down at Home Depot, for crying out loud. Shit. And that was a fat bug, dude. Holy smokes. Goodness gracious. So, we've got a car like this that costs $5,500. Now, also, I know there's going to be a lot of people. There's people who are cracking their fingers right now. Out of the 3 people who are going to watch this video, 2 of them are cracking their fingers right now, getting ready to say, but what about the North Star, man? That engine is a piece of shit, man. You can't be driving a North Star, that headlights, but whatever. That may be a valid point. But I bought this car when it was 24 years, 11 months, and 7 days old, which means that it qualified for an aftermarket warranty with that one company that's always advertising. You know, they advertise on all your favorite radio talk show hosts. You get a promo code. For $107 per month, I got a full warranty on this car. Everything. The electronic suspension, the electronic steering, the engine, the head gaskets. So shut up. Everything is covered for the life of the vehicle. but it's an interminable amount of coverage. Now I've heard some things, interminable amount of coverage. Now I've heard some things online. Oh, they're not going to pay when something goes wrong. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Be that as it may, all those things aside, walk into a dealership in this country with $5,500 in your pocket and walk out with a 50,000-mile two-door V8 leather interior with an active suspension for $107 a month and a lifetime warranty on the vehicle. It can't be done. Not unless you do it in an Eldorado. It's an Eldorado. I mean, that name carries weight with it. No matter what you think about Cadillac, no matter what you think about the North Star, when you're in an Eldorado, you are riding with the likes of Johnny Cash, Sugar Ray Robinson. Travis Barker has 5 Eldorados. Marilyn Monroe. We're talking James Caan. Paulie Walnuts.
AIDS? Nobody's got AIDS.
So we're talking Sammy Davis, Frank Sinatra. Not their exact cars, of course. I mean, do you know what a '59 Eldorado costs nowadays? They're up to $400,000 or $500,000. But this costs 1/100th of that. And we are gliding down the highway. I mean, absolutely hovering down the highway with an automatic climate control, an absolutely orchestral sound system, active suspension, active steering, 300 horsepower in what are honestly the comfiest seats I've ever sat in, and a lifetime warranty. Now you could go out and you could spend 3, 5, 7 times as much on an Accord 2-door or an Altima Coupe. But I can't think of one reason why you would ever do that. And you may say to yourself, well, you know, he's biased. And that may be true. But it doesn't mean I'm wrong. I mean... and they don't make that noise. This is just a delightful car. And I had a blast doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate you listening to me ramble on. You know, this is my first time doing this sort of thing, so hopefully after I get a couple more of them under my belt, the nerves will subside a little bit. I have a couple ideas for some more videos. They will be posted on YouTube and on Rumble, which I just found out that you need 1,000 subscribers to even make 1 red cent off of YouTube. Rumble doesn't have those rules. So, you know, like everybody asks you to, like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed it. I hope you did, because I enjoyed making it, and I look forward to hopefully doing more of these in the future. I hope you have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend, and thank you for your time. Bye-bye.